Welcome back viewers. In the last video we have seen the Geekbench 6.5 performance test being performed on Zorin OS 18 core with the kernel Licorice 6.17.10, and in today's video we are going to do the same test on the generic kernel 6.14 on the Zorin OS core 18 system. Let us start. I have already given the permissions to the Geekbench executable or the bin file, and now let us start the actual test. You can see here the kernel is 6.14.0-36. It is a generic kernel or the default kernel of Zorin OS 18. The same kernel is the generic kernel in Linux Mint also, and in Ubuntu also it is available. And these are the CPU informations, memory size, and the motherboard information, model information, BIOS information for my system hardware. And the single core test have started, and we wait for the test to complete, and then we will check out the scores, and then we will compare the scores with what we got in the Licorice kernel. Now the multi-core test has started. So the test is about to get complete and we will soon see the results. Yes, the result is there on the link. So the single core result is 1218 and the multi-core result is 3806. Now compare this with the liquorized kernel. It is 1228, it is 1218 and multi-core is 3894 and for the generic kernel it is 3806. So there is little difference between the scores for liquorized as well as your generic kernel. 6.14 and the liquorized kernel 6.17. So difference is very less. And now let us check out the individual test scores for the generic kernel. So these are the scores for the single core test. Now the multi-core results are coming up. That is done now. And you can see there is some difference between the memory information. Here it is showing 7.12 and here it is 7.13. So 100 MB difference is there. Anyways, that won't matter much, but the difference is there. That I observed. So that's it, and you can compare these scores with the scores that we obtained in Linux, Mint, Debian, CashewOS also you can compare, and you will get a fair idea how the different Linux distributions perform, and you will get a better idea. So whenever your Linux distribution is derivative of a derivative, there will be some difference in the kernel performance or the system performance. In the scores that we have seen, what I got noticed is that the Debian, Linux Mint and the CashOS system, when the test was going on, the laptop was not stressed. While doing the test for Zorin OS, the laptop is getting stressed. The fan is whirring very loudly. While the test was done on Debian, CashOS as well as Linux Mint, the system was very cool. The fan was not blowing that much, but today the fan is blowing and creating noise, a lot of noise, and I think the system is stressed while doing the test on Zorin OS. So Zorin OS is a notch below the performance of Linux Mint, Debian and CashOS. So that should be noted. And soon we will have the scores for OpenSUSE also. OpenSUSE also I'm going to upload the test and you can watch that. Linux Mint is also going to come this month only, and then the OpenSUSE will come, and then after that I'm going to release the scores for this, that is the Zorin OS 18, and after that I'm going to release the scores for the Ubuntu Noble Numbat, and then you can compare the scores of all the different Linux distributions. They are all interdependent except the CashOS. So if you like, I am also going to do a test on Endeavour OS. We will also check out the performance difference between the Endeavour OS and CashOS. So that is also on my plan. So that's it for today's video. See you in the next video. Bye bye.